And we continue with CentralValleyTalk.com. I'm Mike Scott, joined now by Pete Robles. He's from the Certified Forklift Training Center in Clovis. He's been providing forklift training for, almost 20 years?
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
September will be 20 years.
Yeah. I didn't know that you had to be certified to run a forklift, but now that I think about it, it makes sense. You don't want some guy off the street running your forklift, right?
Well, that's generally what most people don't realize is happening, is there are people out there on the equipment. They have no business being on the equipment.
So they're breaking the law if they're not certified.
Pretty much, and a lot of your employers are responsible for that. They know that these people are supposed to be trained, but they don't want to go to the expense personally.
Yeah, but what if there's an accident? They're going to be liable for not having the trained operator, right?
I guess they're going to have to deal with that on a one-on-one basis.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't even like to speculate as to where that could go.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you've been doing this for 19 years, going on almost 20, means that you're obviously doing something that people like, and you're having people not come back, but word is getting out that you're there and you're reliable, and people must like what you're doing.
I certainly hope so. Our program is unique in comparison to everything else because, quite frankly, I like to think that we translated OSHA, the regulations, into plain English as opposed to a jargon that it's kind of like everybody says we speak the same language as an attorney, and that is so bogus.
Legalese. So you take all those tough OSHA regulations and make them understandable.
Exactly. We cut it out all the
BS.
big 50-cent words and brought it down to simple, English.
Well, that's
plain
good.
English. And as a result, we're experiencing a great deal of success with people who couldn't get through the test previously. There is a written test now and a driving test as well. So OSHA is really being particular with regard to who actually is going to operate this equipment. And that's a good thing. Now, if we just can get more people behind it, I think in the community, because certainly you don't want to have an inexperienced driver on a forklift handling any kind of a product that would be of poisonous nature or hazmat concerns, things of that nature. I'd like to know that the man who's operating the equipment has at least had some experience with regard to how to handle it properly.
Man or woman.
That's correct.
Yeah, you train both, right?
That's correct also.
Are you seeing more women operating forklifts these days?
No, I still...
Still predominantly men?
Yes, and I think that's one of those areas that we have to make some breakthroughs there. A lot of women have no idea that it's actually not difficult at all, and in some cases it's probably going to be way ahead of, say, being a waitress or flipping patties someplace.
You can make some pretty good money running a forklift?
You can make a very good living. Primarily for me, I made a good living in the grocery industry, and I'm sure there are more than one industry out there, but grocery is primarily a very popular industry because people got to eat, and that's going to be around forever.
Yeah. So you were running the forklifts for what, a supermarket? Or?
That's correct.
Yeah. Delivering all the pallets and.
Well, we all those warehouses are stocked with product, and you have to work your way into driving the forklift. You have to be an order selector or order filler first, and from there you would learn about the product, what weighs more, and how to stack it, things of that nature. Then, after you've been familiarized with that, it might take a couple of years, really, because a normal warehouse for a grocery might have maybe 50,000 items. And some deal with food, some of them deal with non-food items. It's just humongous. It's a very large.
Is there a difference in how you move food and non-food items?
They separate them primarily for purpose of cost. Price, there's more money. Generally about a good 400% markup on a non-food item as opposed to a food item.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the various industries, they separate them. Non-foods departments now and grocery.
But from a forklift standpoint, it's just moving something from point A to point B, right?
Palletized in most cases, so yes, it's primarily done by forklift, and it's pretty regimented with regard to how you're going to do it and where it's going to go.
Yeah. Now, you told me there's a minimum of 8 hours training, right? That's the minimum. What's the maximum? Can you go as long as you want?
It's actually supposed to be ongoing.
Ongoing, okay.
Yes. When we when people come to certified forklift, they're seeking that initial certification so that they can go out, in some cases, to just get a job. There are a lot of companies out there that they won't hire or even consider an application unless you're certified already.
But their insurance probably won't let them hire you unless you're certified, right?
That's exactly right. Okay, they have to be bonded and so on in some of the areas. But the training itself, it's supposed to be ongoing. The length of a certification can last 3 years is the maximum. And then after that, it would be recertifications every 3 years, more or less like a driver's license. You have to renew the license. The same thing with forklifts. You have to renew your license.
Yeah.
In most cases, the renewal is just a written test only. The real physical aspects of it come in the initial training when we put them through the paces of that 8-hour course, where we can actually, they have to pass a written exam in order to graduate to the next level, that being the driving range, where we put them through the paces once again, obstacle courses and so on. And new OSHA has really been stressing the fact that driving in reverse as opposed to just going forward. There's a lot of advantages to it. People never really thought about it, but I'm glad to see it's out there. And it's really improved a lot of people's driving. For a lot of people, it's very different. Forklifts, and they want us to stress, in fact, new OSHA stresses that a forklift is not a car. It's not even close to a car. It should never even be compared in any way, shape, or form to a car. But a forklift does have its challenges. When they say rear wheel steering, it confuses people. I don't think anybody really has a grasp of rear wheel steering, what's happening here. Well, with a car and a wide wheelbase, you're going to get a nice wide turn that's delicate. Rear wheel steering, the moment you turn the steering wheel, it's already going in the direction you want it to go. Okay?
It's a tight turn, right?
Very tight. They can do a nice little donut, real nice and neat. Okay? They're built primarily for, tight spaces.
Sure.
That's where your stand-up forklifts will become involved. In a general warehouse, you're generally talking sit-down forklifts or an LTL freight docks. Once again, those are generally forklift sit-downs because they can handle more weight. Stand-up forklift has a limitation in weight, about 3,700 pounds.
Wow.
So it's actually a very challenging job if you really give it any thought at all. It's not as cut and dry. Everybody thinks it's just pick up the pallets, they bring them in on a truck, and what's the big deal there? But that's not to say that the driver is always going to be the greatest driver in the world or how far that freight had to come to arrive here. And distance, turning, bad driving, those quick starts and stops, they'll have an effect on a load. By the time you open the doors, that beautiful palletized load left is got to be reworked.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Do you have? I'm sure you can tell people when they come in for training. Some people probably pick it up right off the bat, and there's probably others you say you should never get on a forklift again the rest of your life.
I generally hit that level comes, generally speaking, on the driving range. I know that you put a lot into the studying of the book and so on, and you've done really well with the written portion, but there's some loss somewhere between
it doesn't translate to the machine, right?
Good eye-hand coordination, there's just something lacking there, but something's not getting the message. Yes, there are people that should not be on forklifts for all intent and purpose, and that's why we have the tests and so on. They don't generally do well on those tests, and that's what they're intended to do, kind of screen out those people who are qualified as opposed. Because forklift driving, when you drive it, the more you drive it, the more experienced you become, the more capable you become as an operator. And that's really where you want to be.
Okay. Well, I never knew there was a certified forklift training center, but now I know. It's in Clovis. Whereabouts in Clovis?
We are located on just about on the corner of Villa and Bullard.
Villa and Bullard.
And 516 is the address.
Okay. Phone number?
And I believe I gave it before, but it's 559 area code 325-8097. And I encourage anybody who's even interested in driving to come by and check us out. There's a book comes with the program too. Yeah, real book. I mean, with our company, it's not a question of trying to just collect money. We are actually here to educate you. And quite frankly, I've never gone to school anywhere in my life that I didn't get a book. I mean, what are these people studying, you know? Where are they getting their information? And if you read the regulations, the way they're written, once again, we're dealing with an attorney's frame of mind as opposed to a student's, their ability to comprehend.
So the book they get is your version of the Cal OSHA laws in a way that they can understand.
Exactly. We are copyrighted. The whole program is copyrighted. Actually, I train instructors as well as students.
Okay.
And have been doing that for a while.
Well, Pete, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Pete Robles, Certified Forklift Training Center in Clovis, right here on Central Valley Talk.
This segment brought